All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. It is Wednesday, July 11th, 2018. And we're going to get started with what we're looking at here in the markets. Some cool stuff's happening. Some interesting things are happening. Some setups are underway, which is definitely cool. We just got to see what happened last night so we can kind of figure out what today is, because if nothing reversed tonight, it could possibly reverse or if nothing reversed last night, could reverse tonight for the midweek reversal or the continuation. So that being said, we're going to go take a look at what we have in the market. So let's go check out EU. So EU, our prediction last night was that EU was going to take a little drop. It did that perfectly. It did stop up high, but it dropped back down to complete the overall structure of what we were looking for. I said it was going to go towards that Mayo, but the news this morning pushed it past and made it drop a little bit lower. So there's a couple things that we can see here. It can either go two ways, up or down, right? So let's go look at the possible ways that this thing could go up or down. All right, let's go down. Let's see. All right, down could possibly, this is off a lower time frame. Down, I say it could possibly go down, right? And possibilities, everything is different. I say down because this is the most recent low. We had the high here, lower low, lower high, lower low, and it just always does stuff where it could pull back and then drop again, right? So that's just the technical aspect of it, and the fact that it's beneath the stationary 50 leads me to believe that we will see some sort of push back up to retest it. But again, also be aware that there is news tomorrow in the morning at 5:30. CPI news for the USD. So be very careful. The technical analysis aspect could get messed up by it, and here's the reason why. If you guys see how close these EMAs are, especially the water and the Mayo, a lot of things can go weird here, all right? So technically, if we're doing the technical analysis here, this is correct. Pull back up, drop, we would see a continuation drop down to the next support zone, which would be about here. Horribly drawn, you guys get it though. But when it comes to news, that's all depending on what happens with the dollar. If the dollar gains strength here, we're going to see this thing go up. So really be careful what the fundamentals are doing and how this could play out. So the news could possibly push this up, right? So that's if this is going down, if pulled back up, back down. That's just common sense. But let's go look at the overall structure, see how we can possibly see if it's going to be an uptrend. So weekly, drop back down, hitting 144. It's divergent. I think it's going to go up and hit the water one more time. Could. It's coming. It broke the 144 and it's testing it right now as we speak. And this is the weekly, so this could, a bunch of things that happen here. So we just got to be careful. Let's go to the daily. Daily came up, hit the water, came right above the stationary 50, came back down, and it's still kind of slightly on an upwards motion. So it came up, took out this recent high, didn't take out this one, but it's coming down. It's retesting the blueberry, which is a good support zone when it comes to the EMAs, which could possibly mean we could see, what time is this? This is the daily, so we got 19 hours. This thing, if news happens, like this could actually shoot this back up towards the upside, towards this wick. That is a possibility, and you would see that overall pullback to this direction, that overall direction. Let me go to the 4-hour. Another thing we have here too, and this is why I say it could go back up, is because this is where it gets a little crazy. So you have let's start here. You have the high, you have a lower low, you have a higher low, lower high, then you have the, technically not even a lower low, but just a low where it's starting to become a little bit divergent. It's testing, so it's 1, 2, double bottom. People bought here, came back down, tested it a third time, didn't take it out. Boom, shoots up. And then now you have a new high compared to the recent lower high. So that this is the lower high, this is the lower low, technically this could consolidate and then shoot back up to retest that high. That could happen. And overall on the weekly, we could see this thing shoot up a little bit higher than usual and possibly go up towards that blueberry. That's a possibility. But at the same time, you're probably thinking, well, here's a high too, and here's this high, and this high is not as high as that one. That could also tie into this possibly shooting down tonight. So multiple things could happen. The news is really going to differentiate like what's going to happen here. But see how these EMAs are tight? This could easily also range. Could also do that too. The EMAs are really tight. That's when these EMAs get tight, that's when shit gets crazy. You want to see what it looks like on the 15? There you go. There's a 15. It's all crazy. Hour, all crazy. Look at this. EMAs are tight as shit. They're all tight. So you have there's anything could happen here. We just got to be really careful so that we don't guess the wrong way, and especially if there's news, you don't want to go against the news. Trust me, it's not fun. But we'll be seeing how this ends up right here. This could possibly shoot up, it could possibly shoot down. Right now on the hour, it is divergent. If you guys see this, no, it's actually not divergent. We'll have to see how this plays out, but possibly, technically, or the technical analysis of it is stop on high, drop, or consolidate. News hits, shoots it back up with the overall direction of the higher time frame. So just be careful. We'll be taking a better look at that later tonight. U-Chief did what we wanted, went back up, retested that high. So if you guys took that for a buy, awesome. It went up, retested. So now that it's going continuously up, we could possibly see this reversal. It is divergent on the hour. If you guys see here, you have price slowly going in an upward slant like that, and then you have price slowly going downward slant. Right? So this could also be telling us that it's hitting a wall. It could come up, retest, and then drop back down. And the fact that there is no trend, you guys see how tight these EMAs are, allows us to believe that this could possibly happen. And it's in a zone right now. So here's the zone that it had, or a place of interest that it hasn't broke. Out here. Right? So you have this whole area, supply and demand, that has not broke yet. And it's retesting this trend line that it could drop again. So let's look at the weekly. Let's zoom in. Weekly's just throwing all these wicks. Thing could possibly drop. It could also possibly shoot up. The TVI's volatility bands are extremely tight. So that is something we got to be careful of. Meaning no movement. The volume could really suck here. Volatility, you got a shark fin coming out, but it's not overbought. A lot of things could happen here. We can do this. I'll draw it out. Could come down and retest back up again, just like we saw last night. News could hit and also bring it right back down. The EMAs are all tight, so anything with the news will affect this thing in a good dramatic way. What else? With the 1 hour, it is divergent, but not the divergence I like to see. So if anything, drop and then rise back up. If news happens, it'll possibly be a big drop back down towards this recent low. All right, so just really be careful tonight. Be on the lookout if you're over on the Pacific Coast. 5:30 a.m. is when news hits for the U.S. dollar. So things could get a little crazy. Let's look at GBP USD. I think we had it for an overall drop. I had it going for towards the Mayo, and it came down and it didn't really take out that low. I don't think it hit it. Here's the low right there. Yep, didn't really hit it. It is a downtrend. Let's go to the daily. Oh, looks like a nice little formation. coming back into the volatility bands. This thing looks like it's going to be a sell. 4 hour. Let's let it load. GU looks like a sell. Looks like a nice little shot down. Unless news hits it. These are all the base pairs, so come on, load. There we go. We'll see what happens here. Because it didn't take out this low yet, this is the recent low. It didn't take it out here yet, as you can see. So this is still viable for a shot up. And the EMAs here are tight, so this thing could consolidate. I don't like to. I want to just honestly wait for news. I'm hoping that news this in the morning is going to be like intense and actually set some of these pairs in the right direction so that we can actually start playing them with the trend. Because this consolidation shit is really starting to piss me off. Well, that's summer for you. So overall, it's a downtrend. You guys want to play with the trend? Be my guest. I think that's the best option. There's just a lot of mixed emotions with GBP USD, and I'm pretty sure most of you can attest to that because I know every single one of you are not just in one group. You're in multiple groups, and you're probably looking at every single other analysis as well. So I'm just saying, from my analysis standpoint, there's not a lot of good readings here. It's not the cleanest of all pairs, but that shot down that we've seen over here in the last several months is what I'm paying attention to, what I believe is going to be actually pushing this thing downwards a little bit more. You have a wick up top, low formation. We got a shark fin coming down. It is overall a downtrend. So I do see this thing coming down towards the recent weekly low here, just based off of this technicals. So maybe just a little shot there. If not, it's going up to that daily water. Those are your zones. Short term, at least. All right, UJ. UJ. So we had a couple of things on here. I have said over the last 2 weeks now. If you guys remember me drawing, if any of you have been on my analysis for the last couple of weeks, you've noticed that I've been saying that I've drawn a trend line here on the weekly and that we were down here before. Notice what happened. I said this thing could still go up and hit this trend line. And that's exactly what it did last night. I know a couple people in our groups, we had it for a sell. News hit. News didn't hit. It just completely broke everything and it went up. And now it's hitting that trend line. So the only thing we have left to do right now when it comes to USD JPY is to see what it does here. So this is the weekly. You go down to the daily. The daily is just hitting that overbought zone. If you guys actually notice, yes, it closed above it, but it still has not broke that wick. Look at it. See the trend line? It is not. Oh, shit. It has not broke it. It wicked off of it. That's completely fine. This could actually still shoot down. If it doesn't, it'll be a shot right up. You'll see it. It'll be obvious. So it's in a spot that I don't necessarily want you guys touching because it's risky. You can either sell it right here and possibly guess that this thing's going to be dropping all the way back down because of the solidity. I can't even say the words. Because of how strong this overall weekly trend line is. That's a possibility. It would need some intense momentum to break it. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's hitting it right now. 7. Either this is going to continue like I've been predicting with the overall trend and it's going to shoot back down to hit this trend line, or it's going to somehow shoot up, break it, retest it, and you're going to see a whole new trend. All right, so we really have to be patient with this pair because this is going to be either all buys for the next month or so or all sells going all the way back down. And because of the no trend, this is still viable for sells because of the point that it's hitting. So I want you guys being patient with this pair and knowing that you're better than fucking guessing. So don't guess. We'll see what happens over the next several hours here. If it forms some sort of formation here, we could see it. Let me look at this. Oh, would you look at that? It's still divergent. You guys see it's actually overly bought. Like, holy shit. This thing is completely overbought. And it's divergent. You have price hitting a stagnant wall, and you have price way up there. Either we're about to see some crazy shit where it goes down towards the water, right? Which it could. Or the news could possibly consolidate it and then boom, all the way back down to that next trend line that we have in the overall wedge, which is, if you guys want to see how many pips away that is, let's go look at the daily real quick. Here's down here. So from where it's at right now, if it starts to drop, so let's say it takes about 2 months, giving us the benefit of the doubt, 600 pips, about. It's anywhere from 600 to 630 pips. So this is about to be something big, so just be really careful on this. Let's go. AUD, I believe we had it for a continuation. I said it was probably going to continue just because of the fact that it was dropping down here. It hit the 4-hour Mayo, and it's an overall downtrend. That's why I said it. Last night it came down to here, took out the low, and I was like, hey, this thing's looking like it's going to shoot down, and it continued to shoot down. So it's not divergent. There was nothing telling me to look for buys. So you guys could have said, hey, look, it's outside of the volatility band. It's curling back. So short term, we could possibly see something like this, where it could either hit that catch up and then continue down again, or it pulls back for the midweek reversal to hit that water on the hour and then drops again. You know, this actually seems better because it is midweek reversal, and I would like to see it shoot up. If it does and doesn't take out this water, you guys are going to be looking for the continued sell. Even though it is oversold, it's not divergent yet, so it could consolidate, it could shoot up. There's a couple things that could happen, so just be really careful on this. GJ, we had it either going down towards the Mayo or the Mayo down here on the hour, or it was going to continue up. And it did continue up. I didn't play this pair last night, but if we're noticing, look what GJ's doing. It's hitting that blueberry, and every time it hits the blueberry, it does some sort of consolidation. That blueberry, I believe, is also nothing. It's not anything crazy in the daily, but it's perfectly lined up with the Mayo on the daily. It was divergent from here to here. Didn't take out the low. It's shooting up, taking out the high. We could see some sort of pullback here, where it drops or consolidates. Oh shit. Where it could consolidate and then drop towards the water as the water gradually comes up. Like, that's a possibility. If not, you will see something like this where it could consolidate and then break the blueberry, come back, retest it, and continue up. So this is all the JPY pairs overall are just something you guys are going to want to be patient with, because all of them are in like areas that could possibly do it. Thank you, Zach. NT. So but it is also divergent. You guys see this here in the 4-hour too. I called this last night, but it just continued. We got 4-hour divergence right here. Boom, there. And it is overbought, so I do expect this thing to consolidate. This move might happen tonight, but at the same time, it might not happen until tomorrow. So just be careful on it, be patient, and we'll see exactly what happens with it. Euro AUD. Last night it did drop, but it's consolidating back up. It's divert. This is the 15-minute. Let me go to the daily first so I can break it down. See, in the zone right here, it's just been consolidating. Euro AUD. See, here's the thing. I don't really see any divergence here. It's above the stationary 50, indicating an uptrend. It looks like it actually just threw some sauce from the morning star for the buy, but it didn't take out that high yet. So, but I don't see any divergence. So I'm gonna have to go with my first guess and just say it could possibly continue up to this trend line. It's a lot of possibilities here. Monthly sauce for a rise. Oh, did it? That's close. It's pretty close, actually. That'll make a lot of sense. Let me go to the 4 hour. It's at a peak. It's not overbought yet. I don't see any patterns forming. This thing could actually shoot up a little bit more. You know, I hate to say it. It is divergent as shit over here, but again, divergence is just one piece of the puzzle. It's not the entire thing. So this thing could continue up and continue to be divergent until it hits that trend line, and then it could drop back down, because this trend line or this area that it's in is also still lower than this high, which is still valid for a head and shoulder. As long as that peak does not take out these peaks, we are still valid for head and shoulders, no matter how high it goes. Dude, really? He calls me every time. Hour. It's retesting here. Didn't quite take it out. Still has a little bit of room. It is overbought, but there's no divergence. This thing could shoot up like this. Go right back to the recent high. And then we can either see a double top for the drop for tonight, or the break. Either way, I believe it's going to come up to retest. So we're looking at buys right now. Fuck EG. We're not looking at that. GA. GA shot the fuck up. Didn't take out the high. There. Was never oversold. It's just going in and out. This could shoot back down though, because of how it's still within the volatility bands. Not divergent. It's still going up. That's not sauce. Weekly. On all these wicks. Still above the stationary 50 for a possible rise. And I know EA and GA are both they correlate. I couldn't even think of the word. This could shoot up to the recent daily high. That's a possibility, because I don't really see any signs of it dropping right now. I mean, it did take out this low, which is dope, and it didn't take out this high, but it's very volatile. It's a very volatile pair. So I would just be like really careful with it. It's coming up to the high. It is divergent up here. Come on. There you go. So it's divergent, not quite shark finned up here, but it's hit a point where it possibly could do this. Come down, hit that water, retest this zone, and then come back up. That's a possibility. That's actually kind of what I like right now. So may possibly look for this thing to drop down to here, but then also shoot back up with the trend. It's a big push up, so it's in this channel. Ooh, did this follow it to a T? Grab this. I did. Stay within it. Rode it. If it does test up here, it could drop down to this trend line. Right? So that's a possibility. Yes. Anything. Why do people call me right now? Let's see. Gold. Gold. Let's see this weekly. See, it's still respecting the support line. It's still respecting this trend line. It is completely over. Nope, not yet. Not oversold here. but it's still due for a pullback after that big ass drop. It's divergent here. We got a stagnant wall coming from the side, or coming right here at the double bottom, and it's going up and it's oversold here. I believe that we are actually going to see this thing rise. You know, this is what I was waiting for. I told you guys that gold was going to drop tonight or last night. What did it do? It dropped, came back down and retested that trend line. It was nice, broke this trend line, so it was a good push down. But now I'm going to start looking for this thing to shoot up. Also, look at this. You have price coming down, price oversold going up. All right, so this could consolidate and eventually shoot back up to that high. So I will be looking for buys. If it's not tonight, it will be sometime tomorrow as well. But definitely be on the lookout because this thing has not broken the high. It's retesting this trend line, and it's look at this divergent on the 15-minute as well. So there's multiple opportunities for this to go, and I'm really confident this thing will rise. So that's what we're going to be looking at. I'll do one more pair. No. So EJ. Weekly. Bounced off the Mayo. Shooting up. We have a trend line. Right there. Breaking it. Daily. Come on. Sorry, my thing's loading. I don't know why it's doing that. Here we go. Right there. Right there. So it broke the trend line. Still shooting up, and these JPY pairs correlate too, so this thing could actually keep shooting up. Is it extremely overbought? Not on here, but it is retesting that EMA 50, so it could possibly win. The daily is above the stationary. There is no divergence. It broke it clean, but the EMAs are really tight, meaning this could go back down because there is no technical trend. 4 hour, it is overbought. It is also divergent. It's going up here. It is also overbought going down here. This could consolidate, kind of throw some sort of head and shoulders pattern, and then drop. That's the 4 hour. We have the 1, where it's just shooting up here. It's divergent as shit on the hour. So if anything, you guys will see something like this. Maybe break that water, drop down towards that Mayo. This would be cool. So we'll be watching this pair to see how this happens. But overall, it did break that trend line, so we could be looking for buys. So just be on the lookout for that. Anything down would be a pullback as of right now. But I do think it could possibly shoot down to retest this trend line overall. So we'll be seeing how this all plays out. So that's tonight's analysis. It's Thursday, technically in the charts. So midweek reversal days. We'll be seeing how this all plays out. Euro USD looks good. I like gold too. So gold has been like the big thing for me right now. I do believe this thing will be shooting up very soon. So we'll be looking at in the chats as well. EA could possibly keep shooting up. We got our eyes on a few things. So be safe in the markets tonight, guys. And I will see you tomorrow to finish off the week. Tomorrow's Thursday, so it's the last chart analysis for the week. And we'll come back next week stronger than ever and keep racking out these pips. So everyone have a great rest of your night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.